The villain this week is the Clock King?
Yes.
Does he have little sentient clock subjects or something?
No, he's just, really good at scheduling.
Well, then why is he called the Clock King?
We've already gone over this. Lame villains who are trying to compensate for something slap King in their title because they think it makes them cool. I'm sorry, but there's no DC universe where the Condiment King is the go-to villain.
Well, maybe a universe where everyone is hot dogs.
Touché.
Welcome back to another episode of Batman the Animated Recap. Last time we covered Fear of Victory, a Scarecrow episode featuring sports betting. This time we're getting introduced to a new member of the animated series Rogues Gallery. Season 1, Episode 25 of Batman the Animated Series, The Clock King. We open at a Gotham subway station where one commuter is rather unhappy about the train being late. This stuffed shirt boards and greets Mayor Hill, who is not actually mayor yet, so we're seeing something from the past. It's obvious that Hill doesn't really care to socialize and can't even be bothered to remember this individual's name.
Fugit. Temple Fugit?
Who the hell names their kid Temple Fugit? Did they want him to get his ass kicked?
Well, it's clearly a play on the Latin phrase tempus fugit, which means time flies. In the original text, it was actually fugit irreparable tempus, or it escapes irretrievable time. It's all a little on the nose if you ask me.
How did you know that? You don't know anything.
When I was growing up, Mama Bane spoke exclusively in dead languages at home, so I picked up a few things. I'm also fluent in ancient Greek and Aramaic.
Hey, fancy it up all you want. Still a stupid f***ing name.
It's no worse than the character's original name from the comics, William Talkman.
With a name like that, he should change from the Clock King to TikTok Man. He'd be big on social media.
We learn that Fugit and Hill have been taking the same train together for over a year. Apparently, Fugit is an efficiency expert with a chip on his shoulder. There's a $20 million judgment against his company. He's filed an appeal, but if he loses, he'll be ruined. And the hearing is that day. Hill gives Fugit some advice.
If that judge sees you looking as tense and haggard as you are now, he'll think you were up to something.
Hill tells Fugit to relax, break his routine. He tells him to take his coffee break 15 minutes later than he normally would, and to take it outside.
Ha! I can already see where this is going.
Later, at Fugit's office, we see that he's kind of a dick.
That would take a copier exactly 1 minute and 49 seconds. One more delay like this, and you're fired.
I know whatever happens, we're supposed to feel bad for this guy, but right now, I kinda don't care.
Good. That's the old psychotic nature kicking in.
Fugit's secretary brings his court documents and his coffee when he decides that he's gonna follow Hill's advice, and, yeah, it goes about as well as you'd expect. This leads to him being late to his hearing and the judge ruling against him, citing that maybe it will teach him to be on time. This causes Fugit to react like he's Dr. Scratch and Sniff being tormented by the Warner Brothers and their sister Dot.
Those kids is driving me crazy!
Insane, unhinged, demented.
I know the Clock King is the antagonist in this story, but I'd like to take a minute to acknowledge the real villains of the piece.
You little brats.
Yes, no one would ever suspect 2 kids and a dog. They're the perfect criminals.
We cut to 7 years later at 8:57 a.m. Hill, now mayor, is on his way to a fundraiser for his campaign to be re-elected as mayor. Bruce Wayne is also en route to the same fundraiser when Alfred gets into a bit of a fender bender. And he's actually about to get into fisticuffs with a cab driver when Bruce figures out what happened.
I mean, I am the world's greatest detective. And it was fairly obvious.
Look. The traffic signals are malfunctioning.
The perpetrator of this crime isn't done yet, though. They're on a nearby rooftop armed with a remote detonator. Bruce catches sight of them just before they unleash more carnage.
What? That's not a grand crime. It's a political ad. And a pretty weak one at that.
Bruce leaps into action doing another impossible quick change, this time while running up a flight of stairs. Seriously, I don't even think Superman changes that fast.
Hey, Some guys got it, some guys don't.
On the roof, Batman encounters the Clock King, who was ready for him.
It's about time you showed up. I'm a civic-minded citizen with a lot of time on his hands.
Is this guy just gonna make constant puns like he's in a Joel Schumacher Batman film?
I mean, they're not all puns, but there's definitely a lot of time talk.
The 9:15 is always 6 minutes early.
Did this guy spend the last 7 years training with ninjas?
I don't know, but I'd see that movie.
Since there's apparently no time to get the Batmobile, Batman has Alfred chauffeur him to the Gotham Transit Department to investigate who tampered with the traffic lights, leading to some of that sweet, sweet Pennyworth sass that we all love so much.
My pleasure. This is one of the finest back alleys in all of Gotham.
Inside, Batman puts on his Cyclops visor and discovers one of the Clock King's explosive pocket watches used to damage one of the servers. Batman is able to pull the serial number off the watch, which leads him to an address for Temple Fugit.
He ran an analog clock company. Huh! Even if the judge had sided with him, I'm pretty sure he'd have been bankrupt sooner rather than later.
You'd better watch what you say about the Clock King. Yeah. Where did that come from?
Ooh, if it happens again, you might need to be checked. You could have pun pneumonia, the uncontrollable urge to use puns.
I can't think of a worse hell.
How do I get infected?
We learn that the inside of Fugit's place is just the set from Doc Brown's place in Back to the Future, and Batman manages to find some plans for Gotham Clock Tower. While reviewing the information, Alfred hears a report of a blackout at Gotham Mutual. Since the bank has time locks, Batman suspects the Clock King, so they head off to investigate what turns out to be a trap.
Sorry I couldn't be with you in person, Batman.
This is the second time this season you've been lured into a bank vault and left for dead. You think you would have learned to stay just outside the door after the last incident? Don't worry, I definitely learned my lesson this time.
It's a trap!
Curses.
It's revealed that Fugit is prepared for Batman. A little too prepared, I feel.
Process will take 15 minutes, 17 minutes less than the time it would take you to burn through the door with that oxyacetylene torch.
How would he know about that? He later claims to have watched clips of Batman in action, but there's no way there's news clips of Batman using that torch. Do the villains of Gotham keep a logbook of every one of Batman's gadgets they encounter? Wait, do they?
Look, I'd love to share, but the first rule of Fight Batman Club is you don't talk about Fight Batman Club.
Fugit also tells Batman that the housing for the oxygen pump has a vibration-sensitive explosive, so he better not tamper with it, but we know that Batman always has an escape plan in mind. Okay, I don't know where this is going, or why you can't just radio Alfred for help since he's just outside the bank, but I'm excited to see the end result.
Good, because it's great and completely plausible.
Why'd you say it like that?
No reason.
Elsewhere in the city, Mayor Hill is opening Gotham Central Station, but the Clock King has other plans.
Let the first train arrive!
You may have a stupid name, but you gotta respect anyone who can make the mayor look like a jackass to the public.
Back at the bank, we see that Batman has fashioned a pulley/conveyor system using the tape from the cassette. What?
Like I said, brilliant. Let's move on.
Why wouldn't you just use one of the many ropes you have on hand for your bat grapple? Surely those would be better suited for transporting that box. That tape could easily break.
And wouldn't lifting the box and transporting it like a gondola lift still cause vibrations? Hey, shut up. What's happening back at Gotham Central Station?
Well, the train finally arrives. In fact, 2 trains arrive on the same track at the same time, going in opposite directions. Mayor Hill goes missing in the chaos, and back at the bank, Batman manages to set off Fugit's explosives near the vault door, proving that time was on his side. Oh no. Now I'm doing it.
There's no pandemonium going around. You can't trust what Crane said. It's second-hand information.
Ah! You said second-hand.
Oh no. It's all true.
Would you two stop whining? I'm starting to get ticked. Oh, you rat f***s.
Batman hears of Mayor Hill's disappearance and knows exactly where to go. Over at the clock tower, Fugit has Hill strapped to the hour hand, with the minutes hand approaching to crush him when the clock strikes 3:15 p.m. He's very particular about that time, though Hill doesn't know why.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You told me to take my coffee break at 3:15.
Well, this is very much a Raul Julia moment.
Huh?
I'll just play the clip.
For you, the day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Oh yeah, for Hill it was definitely just a Tuesday. Anyway, Fugit reveals that he believes Hill sabotaged him on purpose 7 years ago because the plaintiff in his case was represented by Hill's law firm, even though Hill wasn't involved in the case himself. Before Fugit can escape, he gets surprised by Batman.
I'm here to clean your clock, Fugit.
I'm telling you, it's spreading like the plague. If we don't stop watching this episode right now, we're doomed.
You said stopwatch.
Oh, it's gotten me.
Well, I, for one, nope. I've got nothing. I must be immune. How irritating!
Batman fights Fugit on and inside the clock tower, getting bested by the Clock King repeatedly.
I don't buy it. I don't doubt that this guy could have become a lethal killing machine in 7 years' time, but Batman's been training his entire life. There'd be no competition.
But the Clock King says,
I know that it takes you exactly a 20th of a second to throw a punch.
Just because you know the speed of something doesn't mean you have the reflexes to avoid it.
Don't be alarmed, Bane. I'm just setting him up. I just said alarm, didn't I?
You did. Our time is running out. No, literally, the episode's almost over. Batman does trick the Clock King, resulting in...
Why does Gotham have the most shoddy engineering and craftsmanship? Every episode, there's some sort of structural problem that would have never been designed or built that way to begin with. For example, who sets up gears in a clock to self-destruct at the slightest hindrance? All clocks would be a public hazard if they were built like that.
In this case, it probably just came down to manpower. They didn't have enough hands working on that clock.
Oh, that was a good one.
Fugit disappears in the collapse, and Batman manages to save the mayor. In the aftermath, Gordon says that they couldn't find Fugit in the wreckage, but doesn't see how anyone could survive a wreck like that. Batman says that if he could, so could Fugit. Gordon then asks Batman if he thinks they'll hear from the Clock King again, and Batman says,
I'd say it's only a matter of time.
Ugh, are we done yet? Everyone else is having all the fun, whereas there must be a clock under my workstation because it feels like I'm on overtime. Wait a tick. On point? Cringy? Unfunny? I'm back, baby! I just needed a hand to get started. I just needed a hand.
Just like a clock facing a mirror, it's time to reflect. Damn it. Anyway, I think this is a decent enough episode with a formidable villain in the Clock King. If anything, he feels overly formidable, like from where he started to being able to best Batman at almost everything and getting away in the end. I mean, sure, Batman saves the mayor, but I would consider this one of those rare losses since the villain gets away. What did you think, Joker?
Ain't nobody got time for that. 3.5 out of 5 child grifters. Join us next time when we'll be covering Appointment in Crime Alley. Well, when is it? Because I do have a massage scheduled. Till next time, kiddies! So, the mayor has managed to insult me on television, bankrupted Fugit's company, and is at least partly responsible for what happened to Harvey Dent. I say the time has come to replace him.
Are you suggesting that one of us run for mayor?
I'll do it.
No!
What you need is someone reputable to be a viable candidate and grease the right wheels. I could be that guy.
Yeah, but everyone knows the Joker would be in charge. You'd just be a puppet mayor.
Thanks for watching, kiddies! If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a share. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified when more Batman the Animated Recap episodes go up. It might just put a smile on that face.